Hello. So like I said, we're doing adding and subtracting numbers with decimals. Anything that I write down on this paper, you need to write down in your notes. But if I pull another sheet of paper out and I start writing things here, this is just something for you to think about. You don't have to write this down in your notes. Sound good? Cool. So to start, I want us to think about adding and subtracting numbers with decimals. Remember that when we talked about adding and subtracting the other day, we talked about the purpose of addition being to combine things. So if I drew 3 hearts and 2 stars, and I combined those, I would have 5 things. But I can't say that those are 5 stars. On the other hand, if I drew 3 stars and then 2 more stars, I can combine those and say I have 5 stars. So when we're thinking about adding and subtracting numbers with decimals, it's important to make sure that your place values match before adding the numbers. What I mean by that is I can only add these numbers together if I line up my ones digits with the ones digit in the other number. If I don't line up those place values, it's not the same thing and I can't add them together. So take a quick second and look at this place value chart. Internalize all of the place values. This should be a reminder. Notice that the comma here is just a placeholder. It doesn't represent anything. It's just to help make the number easier to read. Notice that the ones digit is immediately in front of the decimal point. And then after the decimal point, we start calling it tenths, hundredths, and thousandths. So right now, go ahead and write down any questions that you have about the place value chart in the burning questions section of your feedback paper, this part right here. Anything you don't understand about place value, and pause the video. Awesome. Welcome back. So we're going to go ahead and look at the first problem. So when I read this problem out loud, I'm going to want to use place value as well. So when I look at this first number, I can read this as 3 and 621 thousandths. So when I go to write that, I'm going to write 3 and 621 thousandths. The next number reads 5 and 9 tenths. So 5 is in the ones digit, the decimal, and 9 tenths. So when I go to write this underneath this number, I need to make sure that 5, which is in the ones digit, is immediately under the 3, which was in the ones digit. So 5 goes immediately underneath the 3. Notice that my decimal point is lined up, and then my tenths place value needs to be lined up. So the 9 needs to be immediately underneath the 6 tenths. I have these hundredths and thousandths place values that aren't being used. So if I am past the decimal point and I need to add a number in past the 9 tenths, I can fill in zeros there to hold that place. So now we just add like normal since we lined up our decimal points and all of our place values. 2 plus 0 is 2. 6 plus 9 is 15. I bring my decimal straight down into my answer. 1 plus 3 is 4. Plus 5 is 9. So when I go to read my answer, I'm going to read that as 9 and 521 thousandths. Yes. Okay, make sure you have that written down and go answer those questions on adding decimals.